Welcome to Bradford. It's the UK City of Culture for 2025 and one of my old stomping grounds. So, let's start the show! As UK City of Culture 2025, Bradford is spotlighting its rich industrial legacy, diverse communities and creative energy. With over 1,000 events, the year is underpinned by a £15 million funding package expected to create around 6,500 jobs, thousands of training opportunities and an economic uplift of roughly £140 million. As the first UK City of Culture to include its entire district, Bradford celebrations extend across villages, parks and historic towns, aiming to use culture as a vehicle for regeneration, community cohesion and long-term legacy construction. During its tenure as UK City of Culture 2025, there is always some sort of entertainment taking place in Bradford. Here in Centenary Square we've got bagpipers at the moment, so let's take a look around the city at what else you can see here. Bradford's famous theatre is the Alhambra. It has been entertaining people from far and wide for decades. Bradford is well connected to the rail network. There are two stations in the city, here at Forster Square and Bradford Interchange, where there are trains to Leeds, Manchester, Huddersfield and Blackpool. There are also bus services from Bradford Interchange. Welcome to Lister Park on Keighley Road, just outside Bradford. Now, I lived on Keighley Road for about 6 months in the late 90s when I was working for the Bradford Telegraph and Argus newspaper. And I used to come to visit Lister Park of an evening, especially in the summer, like it is now, on a lovely sunny evening. It was a nice place just to walk around. So we've got a map here showing where we are. We go on at the Oak Lane end, and here's Keighley Road. So I would have lived on the other side of the road, somewhere around here, I reckon. And we've got Cartwright Hall in the middle, and there's also a lake. So this is bringing back memories, really good memories of the short time that I spent in Bradford. Lister Park is Bradford's premier park, located approximately 1 mile from Bradford city centre on the A650 Keighley Road. The 22.25 hectare park, once home of the Lister family, was opened as a public park in October 1870. This statue was commissioned and erected in 1875 by the people of Bradford as a gesture of thanks and a sign of appreciation to Samuel Cunliffe Lister, a wealthy industrialist who went on to become Lord Masham, for his generosity and assistance in the development of Lister Park. The base of the statue depicts different aspects of the textile industry, from sheep farming to the weaving of the textiles. The memories are flooding back. So the house that I lived in, well, it was a flat, but it was part of an old lodge type house, almost like a mansion. It was over there on the other side of Keighley Road. And I can remember I would get the bus into work and home again, and you paid for like a single ticket. And the cost of the ticket for a single was 66p. And I can remember that I had a whole stack of 2p coins and probably like 20p's as well, so as I had the exact change to give to the bus driver each day. Well, the 662 shuttle bus to Keighley has just passed, and that was the same route that we took to get here. And you're not going to believe it, I found the house. 128 Keighley Road. I remember that it was the two front doors, and I'm sure that I was through the left-hand side. I thought it was set a little bit further back, but I would have gone through the door and I was on the top floor as far as I remember. Yes, I was. So I would have been in one of these ones, either with the two windows at the left-hand side or the middle bit. And I had a fold-out bed. It was in the wall, so it was quite a small space. It was at one room, and then there was a small bathroom and a very small kitchen as well. But that's it. I wasn't there for a long time at all. I lived there from January until July 1998, so 27 years ago. We've just spied an ice cream van, and I've been wanting to get an ice cream from a van for ages. Here we have two single cones.
Cheers.
£3.50 each, which I think is reasonable enough considering it's from the van. We've got no tissues, but
Oh wow.
Put some strawberry sauce on. Actually, I do have tissue. Oh, you want one?
No.
I think I'll have one.
Before we eat all of it, maybe we take a selfie with it.
I don't normally get strawberry sauce, but I thought I would this time.
Are you making up for old times?
Yeah. This is lovely.
Look at all this wildlife.
That's just us. There's a boating pavilion and cafe, and you can buy tickets to rent a boat to take out on the lake. Look at the geese, Paul.
Oh my gosh.
Look, they're all coming to say hello.
So is that one also a geese?
Is that a duck?
No, I think that those are geese.
Yeah.
All of these ones, right? The black ones as well as those ones, right?
Well, those are definitely geese.
So what?
I don't think those are ducks. I think they're all geese.
Alright.
Yeah. Well, they do say that birds of a feather flock together. And they're all swimming away from us now. Maybe they've spotted food somewhere. We've just discovered more geese. Look, they're all running over there, and it's because somebody is feeding them bread. There's lots of activity. There's another group of geese under those trees, and some of them have been going into the water. We've heard a lot of flapping. A lot of dive bombing is going on. Huh. They're probably going to be quiet now that we're filming, right?
Is this thing over here?
It looks like the starting point for a race or something.
But there seems to be 2 ducks on this thing.
Yeah.
And then there's this other bird trying to like go through. Do you think it is to measure the water or something?
It could be, yes. The original terracotta lions were commissioned for the 1904 Bradford exhibition held in Lister Park. The restored terracotta lions now sit as permanent guardians of the lake on the landscaped island close to the inlet waterfall. The lions remain a much loved feature of the park. What's that, Paul? It's supposed to be a waterfall, but it's just a drip.
No, well,
oh yeah,
it's coming. I didn't even see the bit up there.
Yeah, it's a little mini waterfall. Is this the fossilized remains of an oak tree or something, Paul? What do you think?
This is the fossil tree stump.
So it says that the fossil was uncovered in 1889 in sandstone quarries at Clayton, near Bradford. That's incredible.
It's really old.
This is the area I remember from all those years ago called Cartwright Hall. So I would have walked up from Keighley Road and come up into this spectacular ornate garden and then probably have a sit down looking at the hall and the flowers.
We have seen these ones before.
What is that? Is it honeysuckle?
I don't know.
You're not Alan Titchmarsh? No? Oh, okay.
What is this?
I actually thought it was something under wraps.
Oh, okay.
But it is actually a sculpture. I first of
Look.
all thought there was like a plastic bag over the top of whatever it's supposed to be. I'm not sure what it signifies though. I didn't recognise it, and that's because it's only been here for a year. It's called Possession 1. This artwork temporarily covers the statue The Stag and Diana, crafted in bronze by Pierre-Louis Rouillard, a replica of a marble statue of Diana of Versailles at the Louvre Museum in Paris. So actually, when I said I thought it was a plastic bag over the top, I wasn't totally wrong. It is covering the original statue.
Do you know what I thought it was? I thought it was like wrapping like an egg for some reason.
Ah, well, I suppose it is in a way. It's a shell that is covering the original statue. So, yeah.
This plaque was unveiled by the Right Worshipful, the Lord Mayor of Bradford, Councillor Richard Whiteman, on 26th of May 2002 to commemorate the completion of the restoration of the park, 1998 to 2002.
Enjoying looking at the flowers, Paul.
Well, there was a plaque on it.
Oh, right.
And it says, this plaque was unveiled by the Lord Mayor of Bradford.
Oh, wow. Very good.
So I did get some of it.
Well, this is the bit that I really remember now. This fountain with the hall just behind it. And it's quite a warm day while we're filming this. It's the end of June. And the splash of water is really welcome right now.
this thing is water as well.
Yeah. My old newspaper, the Telegraph and Argus. I worked here for a year at Hall Ings in Bradford in the late 90s. This is the press hall where the papers are printed. I don't know if it's still printed here. I'd like to think that it is. It still says Telegraph and Argus up at the top, so I'm hoping that it's still in operation.
What?
No. So it looks as though that this is no longer the site, because look, it's got signs up that the site has been provided by a certain company, and also here's the reception, and there's grass growing outside, so it looks as though that they have vacated, but it can't be that long ago because all the signs are still here. But I spent a year, which was quite a happy year, and the Telegraph and Argus was and still is a great newspaper, a daily newspaper. A reminder of when you could get your copy inside. So we are heading to Bradford's one and only gay bar, the Sun Hotel on Sunbridge Road. And I was a frequent visitor there during my short stay in Bradford. And we've just been walking around and thinking, which way is it, which way is it? I'd looked it up on the map, but I also always remember walking up a hill to get there. And it's this hill right here, just past the Avalon Theatre, behind us. Here we are, Paul. The sun. The sun is shining.
The Sun Hotel.
Yeah. Well, it was great to be back at the Sun Hotel again. To be honest, I don't think the interior has changed that much. It looked really similar to what it was when we were there, but we got a really warm welcome. We met some local ladies, and yes, we had a really good chat about the history of Bradford. So I would highly recommend a visit to the Sun Hotel if you're here. Don't leave us sitting in an empty stadium. Hit the subscribe button and support It's Paul and Marcus on YouTube. It's the next morning, and I'm interested to see how Bradford has changed since I left here 27 years ago. Well, the Broadway shopping centre certainly wasn't here back in my day. If there was a shopping centre, it was much smaller than the one that is here now. And it's just opposite the Telegraph and Argus building where I worked. But there is a cafe up here, which I think used to be here, but in a different form back in the day. Because I can remember when I worked at the Telegraph and Argus, on a Friday night, we worked late because there was a Saturday early bird paper, and we would get pizza delivered, or I would actually be the one who would go over and collect it. And I'm sure it came from this cafe on the corner. And it's Frankie's. So with the old Telegraph and Argus building behind us, when I would come out at lunchtime, I would walk through the city centre and get a sandwich at Boots. So I remember lots of hills, or at least one street with a big hill. But the thing that I always remember is the old buildings, which is reminiscent of cities like Belfast and Glasgow. And perhaps the most striking of those buildings is the City Hall in Centenary Square. Market Street. Now I am sure that this is where there was a Wendy's restaurant way back in the day. They then closed all their UK outlets, but they're now proudly back in Britain. Ivygate. This is the street that I remember walking up the hill. Now, I'm not sure if there's a Boots up here now, but I also remember there was a little side street where I used to get my hair cut. Yes, I actually did have hair back in the day. Oh, I wonder, could it have been through here that I got my hair cut? Let's have a look where this takes us. It might have been there. Next to it, the excellent hair salon. Yeah, that's probably where it was. It's good to see that they've got an Irish pub here in Bradford, the Dubliner. Flashing bollards. One thing I have noticed, that there is a distinct lack of newsagents or other shops selling newspapers in Bradford. That's bad news for the local paper. Now, the Kirkgate shopping centre, that was definitely here in my day. What have you spotted, Paul?
I have spotted a Darley Street Market. So I think it is under renovation or something, because it also said Bradford Markets over there. So I'm not sure whether it's gonna be an up and coming market or what.
This is interesting. Some of the local landmarks and their postcodes: the Yorkshire Penny Bank BD1, De Vere House Little Germany BD1, Saltire United Reformed Church BD18, Cliff Castle Museum BD20, and Cartwright Hall, where we were, Paul, BD9. Queen Victoria keeps watch at the Bradford City War Memorial Garden. Morph is here to welcome us to the National Science and Media Museum, one of many museums in Bradford, and this one is free to enter. Well, we did pay a £5 suggested donation and also did gift aid, which was absolutely fine. But I have to say I was a bit disappointed with the museum because some of the exhibits were closed. They're reopening in a few weeks' time, and by the time this episode goes out, they will be open. But there was one exhibit in particular I wanted to see, and that was the original dolls from the Play School children's television programme that I grew up with. But if you are coming, those exhibits should be open later this year by the time this episode goes out in August. If you've got a little extra time while you're in Bradford, Halifax is only 10 minutes away by train. Well, Halifax is set in a valley, and I remember when I was here before, many years ago, the hills, and we're walking up one now in the town centre. Do you notice, Paul, that all the shops have got special little signs hanging off? Yeah.
Oh, those awnings.
And I think they're all sort of depicting images of Halifax or items, things related to the town. It's a nice little touch.
Do you want to go to Smith for your local papers?
Oh, right, I should check that out. We were actually able to buy a Yorkshire Post at the station, but I haven't been able to find a Telegraph and Argus anywhere. And it's a Sunday now, so I think that the Saturday edition's probably not on sale. But it's always worth a chance. I got it. I had to come all the way to Halifax to get a copy, but here it is. Well, Paul, you can't come all the way to Halifax and not visit the Halifax, because of course the building society is named after the town. We've even found what appears to be the old Halifax building. Halifax is well connected. As well as the railway station, there's also the bus station. Well, the entertainment is continuing in Bradford here today. Well, we hope that you have enjoyed today's episode.
Yes, thank you so much for watching today's episode. For those of you that have liked today's episode, give us a thumbs up. For those of you that have not subscribed already, hit the subscribe button. And for those of you that want to leave a comment, you can do so as well.
And if you'd like to buy us a coffee to help us along the way, there is a link in the description. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.